Why do some African diaspora marriages crumble after the first 5 years abroad? Okay, I'm curious. Let's get right into it and drop your thoughts in the comment section.
Why do some African diaspora marriages crumble after the first 5 years abroad? This is not just about immigration stress or culture shock. It's deeper, more emotional, and often more personal than most couples are ready to admit. At first, everything feels like an adventure. The move abroad comes with excitement and ambition. One or both spouses arrive determined to build a better life. But slowly the cracks begin to show. Roles change, expectations clash, and the foundation they once stood on, shared values, extended family, survival instincts, starts to feel distant or irrelevant in this new world. Now let's pause here. If you're someone navigating love, identity, and partnership in a foreign land, make sure you follow us across all social media platforms. We share content that speaks to your experience, unfiltered, real, and deeply human. Subscribe for regular insights on love, marriage, and growth in the diaspora. In the first year abroad, survival takes the lead. The focus is on papers, jobs, schools, stability. Couples function like a team. They hustle together, they sacrifice. But what no one tells them is that survival mode intimacy is not the same as emotional intimacy. You may be partners in progress, but are you still lovers in love? Many don't realize until it's too late. They become co-immigrants, not co-builders of romance. When the papers finally come, when the stress calms down, just enough to breathe, they look at each other and realize they've drifted miles apart. And cultural shift also hits hard, especially gender expectations. A wife who was a full-time homemaker back home may now have to work double shifts. A husband who used to be the sole provider may now feel insecure or even emasculated if the wife earns more or becomes more independent. The role they were raised to respect don't translate neatly in the diaspora, and that's a fact. Some men feel displaced, some men feel unleashed. And unless there is deep emotional communication, resentment builds fast. Add this to the issue of extended family influence. In Africa, couples often live within only a community. There is a strong presence of elders, parents, aunts, uncles, couples, or people who reinforce norms, guide disputes, and apply invincible glue. But in the West, that communal safety net is gone. When conflict arises, there is no one to call who will intervene wisely. Most diaspora couples are left to figure it out themselves, which sounds empowering until both partners feel isolated, misunderstood, or unsupported. What used to be our marriage becomes your issue and mine. Emotional evolution. People change when they move abroad. They grow, they adapt, but often they grow in different directions. And one partner may become more liberal, more expressive, more exploratory, emotionally, intellectually, even spiritually. The other may cling to tradition. What started as we're in this together morphs into who are we or who are you becoming. And why don't you see the world the way I see too? Well, I still see it. Without regular raw conversations, those changes turn into emotional distance. And by year 5, it's not uncommon for one or both spouses to feel like strangers. So let's be honest. Immigration can also expose what was already broken. Many diaspora marriages were built on survival contracts, not emotional depth. Some married for papers, others married for image, and a few married because someone said it was time. But abroad, there is nowhere to hide. The cultural structures that held shaky marriages together are gone. You're now face to face with each other's flaws, traumas, and emotional immaturity. with no aunts to blame and no village to distract you. And here is another layer: mental health. Many Africans grow up in cultures that downplay therapy, emotional awareness, or even open conversations about sadness. The diaspora life can be isolating. The cold weather, the work grind, the racial tension, the lack of belonging, it can wear you down. And if you're not emotionally fluid, that pain spills into your relationship. Some withdraw, some lash out, others cheat. Not always out of loss, but as an escape from emotional stagnation. And so the marriage suffers. So let me ask you this: have you ever felt like your partner grew emotionally distant once you got abroad? Or that the person they've become isn't the person you married back home? Let us know in the comments, because your voice could help someone else not feel so alone. Now let's talk about freedom. In many Western countries, particularly in the US, the UK, and Canada, and somewhere else, divorce is not taboo. Women especially are more empowered to leave emotionally unfulfilling or toxic marriage or marriages without being socially ostracized. In contrast, back home, many would stay for the children or for respect. Abroad, those invisible chains often fall off. And when they do, the reality of an unhappy marriage becomes harder to tolerate. This new freedom reveals truth many couples back home could afford to ignore. Technology and cultural exposure also play their role. With social media and global content, many diaspora partners start questioning the roles they were taught. Women begin to expect more emotional support, co-parenting, even affections, things their husbands may not have been raised to provide. Men may begin to feel criticized or unappreciated for not adjusting fast enough. Instead of adapting together, they accuse each other of changing too much or losing their roots. And the relationship turns into a quiet battlefield of unmet needs. Another dynamic, however, that shows up: shifting power balances. Let's say the wife becomes the primary breadwinner. In some African cultures, that alone can be a source of unspoken tension. If the husband doesn't feel respected, he may act out. If the wife doesn't feel appreciated, she may withdraw. But respect in diaspora marriages isn't just about who earns more. It's about emotional leadership, mutual support, and shared vision. Sadly, many couples never have the tools to renegotiate power in healthy ways, so resentment begins to build, and intimacy suddenly dies. And then, of course, there is the pressure of pretending. Many diaspora couples are more concerned about how they appear to others, especially those back home, than how they feel with each other. They post smiling pictures while living in emotional silence or distance. They spend money home while barely speaking in their own home abroad. That pressure to keep up appearances can be the final nail in the coffin. Because when you perform in your marriage instead of experiencing it, the loneliness becomes unbearable. By year 5, the excitement has faded, and the responsibilities are heavier. The illusions are gone, and many are left with the question: is this the marriage I still want, or just the one I started? But here is the hopeful part: it doesn't have to end this way. Some African diaspora marriages not only survive, but thrive, because the couples invested in emotional awareness, mutual growth, and honest conversations. They sought help. They didn't hide behind pride. They adapted together. And they redefined their love not by culture alone, but by connection. So if you're in a diaspora marriage right now and things feel shaky, it is not too late. But waiting for things to magically improve will cut it. Emotional laziness is one of the most expensive luxuries you can't afford in a cross-cultural marriage. So what does it take to stay strong in this journey. It takes relearning your partner, falling in love with who they are becoming, not just who they are or who they are. It means letting go of culture, walls, and ego battles, and instead nurturing empathy, flexibility, and consistent intimacy. It's about shifting from survival to thriving, not just in careers or in migration status, but in love. And if you are at a crossroad, consider this. Most failed marriages don't crumble overnight. They dissolve through years of silence, pride, assumptions, and emotional neglect. If you want different, you have to do different. And that starts with talking, listening, and reimagining your relationship, not as a replica of home, but as a unique bond that honors where you've come from and where you're going. You can choose to follow us across all social media platforms for more honest, raw, and relevant conversations on love, relationships, and everything that falls in between. Because your story matters, and so does your marriage. If this episode resonated with you, share it. Drop a comment and tell us what topic we should tackle next. Until then, bye for now.